We're so happy to have you. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. If you're on Zoom with us, we're happy to answer those questions as well. So we're having a steak night tonight. We can't let the steak go to waste.
No, we can't.
Winston would be devastated
if
we let it go to waste. So in his honor, I think we need to eat
the steaks that were on for that night.
Yes.
Are being shared tonight with you guys.
So thank you all for joining us as we honor his wonderful life and all the blessings he gave to us.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet boy.
All right, everybody. Welcome. Cooking with Kat and Steph, Dysphagia Duo. We are going to do some veggies. We're going to do some mashed potatoes, and we're going to do steak tonight. So
we are going to puree steak.
Yes, we are. Would you grab me a cutting board? We'll grab this out of the oven. And I'll grab the veggies. Ooh, smells delightful. Okay. So I'm going to turn our water on to boil. We have a fancy kettle for that. We have some broth
to help with the puree.
Blending. And then we just have some steamed veggies. So we can do each of these as level 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
And we're going to show y'all how
to do that.
We do that. Okay. So steak looks great. So I put a couple pictures on Facebook of Stephanie grilling.
Oh, you did?
A few minutes ago, I did.
Great.
Yep. So they were grilled. They were seasoned, grilled to get some nice marks on them. Cook them all the way through. We have a couple of different blenders here tonight. So
we do.
Let's talk.
Yes.
So steaks, we want our steaks to rest just a little bit. They were in the oven to keep warm. And then what should we blend our mashed potatoes in?
We probably can just
with a fork?
Do those in a bowl.
Okay. So whether you do mashed potatoes from a packet or from scratch, totally up to you.
Right.
We like from a packet because they're smooth, they're consistent, and they're easy. I never thought my chef brain would say that.
Well,
but it does.
It's easier to get them smooth. If you need smooth. Now, granted, I love a good homemade mashed potato, but it's really hard to get it super smooth. So this is just a little trick.
Yeah. So I've got water boiling over here. I'm going to move this aside for just a second. And so I think what we're going to do is, for those of you that can have soft cooked vegetables, just some plain old steamed veggies that are super falling apart like that, these may be soft enough for you. So this would be a level 6.
Let me grab a fork and I'll show you the test.
Yes. Okay. So there's a carrot, there's a cauliflower, they're still toasty warm.
Well, you're the one that chose to do it with your fingers.
I know. Well, it doesn't scare me.
So I know.
Level 5.
Level 5 would be if you can mash it with a fork.
Yep. Beautiful.
So cauliflower is perfectly level 5, and that's just steamed.
We're a big fan of frozen veggies in my house. They're easy.
And they usually carry more of the nutrients because they're flash frozen quickly after.
She read my mind. I love it when that happens. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So.
Yes. So we like frozen veggies. They cook nice and soft. Carrot was a little tougher, wasn't it?
Well, it's not really. It may just be my strength.
You're so strong. Okay. So level 5. If it goes through the tines of a fork, you've got a nice level 5. These are just steamed veggies, right?
And I keep mashing. So essentially I could keep going until it's pureed.
Now, if you don't have the strength of Stephanie, a nice tool like my chopper here works great for this.
True. That is true.
If you don't want to burn these calories because you need all the calories you can get, put them in a chopper.
And another thing I'm going to tell you, a little bit of butter on top.
Speaking of my soul there, sister.
Little bit of real fresh butter.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
And look at you go.
I burned 5 less calories than she did. Right, like that. Okay. For those of you on Zoom, nice and simple.
I'll put that in here.
Yeah.
So level 5.
Easy peasy.
Veggies.
Level 5 veggies.
El Manuel.
Machine done.
Machine done.
I will say though that the ones done with the fork, because you can keep the colors separate, looks so much prettier.
Well, that depends on your idea of beauty.
It does.
Because
you're
there's
right.
something very interesting about the multicolored.
Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
Let's
there it is.
Do some steak here. You want to stab one of these bad boys and put it on the...
Sure. This one's a little bit thinner, so let's do this one.
Okay. I like thinner. Okay. So one of the things that we're looking at here when we... Let's see if I can get my phone to stay at that angle. I probably can't. Okay. One of the things we're looking at here when we do steak. So for those of you that are in the membership, you can hop on our Telegram group and you can see the camera from what I'm doing here.
The Telegram group or Zoom?
I posted the
link.
Zoom in the group.
Okay.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off some strips here. So what I'm looking for is the striations go this direction. So I'm going to cut this a couple of different ways. You can see that they go this way. I cut it this way. So they're short, but we want shorter. So I'm going to cut it in half in a way you wouldn't normally expect. So I'm going to cut the steak in half this way. That way we get the fibers shorter and it's going to blend easier. Okay. Now, if I'm just doing level 6, which is soft and bite-sized, this is probably enough.
I'm going to grab some of these so that we can.
Oops. Okay. So I just run a knife through it, right like that. This would be a level 6. Okay. So the pieces are small and they should be easy to chew.
And it depends on the steak that you choose too. Now you don't want to choose a sirloin. This was, it's similar to a ribeye. It's called chuck eye. It's usually a little bit less expensive than a ribeye, but it's usually as tender.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit of the fat in it, which helps it to blend.
So I am going to cut off, there's a little piece of this silver skin on the side here. I just cut that off because it's not going to blend well.
That would be a bit gristly, yeah.
Yep. So I'm just going to take my knife and just slice off just a touch there. Okay. So I'm going to put this now. I'm going to cut it like I did the other one. Get those fibers shortened.
Do you want to use that one or do you want to use one of the others?
Why don't we, I want to use one of the others, I think. If you're good with that.
Of course.
Okay.
Let's use our ninja.
All right. Okay. So there's probably about an ounce there. I'm going to add just a little bit more. They told me not to play with my food, so I became a chef.
So that you could?
So that I could play with my food, yes. Okay.
All right. And then we're going to add
beef broth.
Beef broth. That's about enough to cover. That's where we're starting.
Right.
And you know what? I'm going to add
butter.
A touch of butter.
Okay. Right like that.
Because just a little bit, a little tiny, like half a pat of butter is going to help it to be smooth.
Yes. So at the same time that you're doing that, I'm going to throw a little bit in with this.
So that we can make minced and moist.
Level 5. Okay. Do you need more?
I think it's going to need
liquid.
Yes.
Maybe. All right. Anybody have any questions? Is steak something you eat? Is steak? Oh, Megan, it's a chuck eye, similar to a ribeye, but it is less expensive. We eat them more often than any other kind of steak in my house when we have steak because they are less expensive. Okay. Trimming, trimming, trimming. Okay.
That's
Yeah. Okay. While that's blending, I'll grab some water.
make the potatoes.
So, potatoes right in the bowl. Want a fork or you want a whisk or? You can measure. There are instructions on the package, but as you can see, Stephanie and I,
we like to wing it.
We live dangerously sometimes. And the great thing is, you can always, if you have a little bit more, you can always add a little bit more. If you need more water, you can add more water.
This is probably good.
Okay. All right.
Just let it.
I'm also going to pulse my.
Actually, maybe a tiny bit more.
Tiny bit more. I tried not to go overboard.
Okay.
But I might have gone overboard. Well, they should thicken a little bit as you go.
As they sit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Starches do that. The cooler they get, the thicker they get. That the water evaporates when it's hot and you lose moisture. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, I'm also gonna. Oh, how's that looking?
Well, it's looking pretty good, but I am going to go another go round. So this will make 3.
Blend again. When in doubt, blend again. Same here. All right. So, steak. Cook your steak thoroughly. I'm a medium rare girl myself.
Me as well.
Yep. So, when you have dysphagia, choosing the right kind of steak, really important, because if you get a sirloin, it's going to be tougher.
Very tough.
It's going to be harder to puree. If you get a chuck eye or a ribeye, it's going to be much, much smoother. Part of that is that sirloin doesn't have a lot of fat.
Right.
Ribeye and chuck eye has a lot of fat.
The fat helps.
The fat helps with blending. So we did add a little bit of butter. We added a little bit of broth. If we need to thicken this, we can add a touch of the mashed potatoes, okay? So let's take a look at my level 5 steak here. So it's pretty minced. I believe that would go through the tines of a fork. What about a filet mignon? Fantastic question on Zoom here. So filet is going to be much more tender as long as you don't overcook it. So you could do like a nice medium or even more towards the medium well, but if you get it well done, it will be like a hockey puck. So I would do.
And there's no fat in it.
There's
so
not as much.
There's a reason why they surround it with bacon because that helps to
Yes.
give it a little bit of the fat.
Okay.
That helps with flavor. But yes, a filet mignon.
Filet mignon
I would choose that too.
Delicious. Okay. So this is our minced and moist. Okay. So it's not exactly moist, but it's minced.
But we can make it moist. Look, one of the things that you can do is, is it on your phone? Yep. Just add that liquid. Or you could pour a little bit of butter on it.
Yep. Oops. The trick to get thinner mashed potatoes is to add more water or more liquid. You do not,
or gravy or whatever.
Yes, you do not need to continue pureeing them. If you puree potatoes, they are going to turn to glue.
They'll get, yeah.
Do not continue to puree your potatoes. If you get them to an okay consistency and they're still too thick, add more liquid, whether you're adding milk, broth, water, totally fine. You're going to thicken those bad boys up.
Because we had to put enough water in it for it to puree well. Mm-hmm. I am going to put just a little bit of the potatoes in there to see if I can get it to a...
Okay. You know what? I'm actually going to put our steak in my little champagne glass here.
Yes.
Okay. We'll make like a little faux shepherd's pie. Okay.
Very nice. That's a great idea. So, Kat, let's talk about just the basic nutritional component of the reasons why we chose these things.
Yeah. So we want you to get all of your macronutrients.
Oh my gosh, look how smooth that turned out.
Looks beautiful.
With the potatoes.
How about that one? Yes. So we want you to get all your macronutrients. It's really, really important that you get enough protein. Meats are preferable because they are complete and you don't have to have as much of them. So the volume can be much lower. Whereas if you have a plant-based source of protein, you have to eat 2 to 3 times as much in order to get the same amount of protein. So I always recommend meats as much as possible. So if you're doing a minced and moist, something like this, and then you put those taters right on top. And then I am going to put a little more broth. Okay. So we have a layered, it's sort of like it's not shepherd's pie because it's not lamb, but we want you to have protein. So if you go to the USDA My Plate website, the new thing that they replace the food pyramid with is the My Plate. So it's just a picture of a plate and it's divided into sections. Protein takes up 1/4 of it. So if you're vegetarian, you want to choose plant sources of protein that are high in protein. So we're talking tofu, we're talking lentils, we're talking beans. You have to add a grain into those because they're not complete. You cannot get a complete protein unless you have a grain and a vegetable source together. So this would be like rice and lentils. Whereas if you have meat, this is a complete source. You don't have to eat as much to get all the protein that you need. So then we like the starch because our bodies need energy. Starch converts to energy in our bodies easily, but most of us don't actually need as much as we eat. So portion control is really, really important. So 1 serving, do you still have those measuring cups out? 1 serving of potatoes is about 1/2 cup. I think that's what the instructions say too. Yeah. So a 1/4 cup dry makes 1/2 cup prepared. Mm-hmm. From what I understand from the math on the back of that package. I could be a little bit off. That's okay. So if you have a measuring cup and you measure out 1/2 cup, that's a serving size. So with your meat, it's a little bit less. We want about 4 ounces of meat at each meal.
Okay.
Now, how do we know that? Well, this steak that's in this pan is probably between 6 and 8 ounces. So if you do what I did here and cut off all the pieces that are not going to puree well, you've probably got around 4 ounces. Okay. So once you trim it, you'll have the right amount. So granted, we did ours in 3 different sections. So we have our soft and bite size.
Let me try it.
It's a little bit chewy. This is the thing with steak. If you have to chew a lot and you can't handle chewing, go with something a little bit smaller.
Right.
So you may be a level 6 for the veggies, but you may be a level 5 or 4 for the meat.
And I'm going to tell you that the meat actually did puree
really smooth.
Really smooth. So what I did was we cubed. Isn't it smooth?
And I love that you added the potatoes in there too, because
the potatoes is what helped it to be even smoother. So it was the cubed meat. It was a little bit of butter. It was beef broth. And then at the very end, I put about a teaspoon of potatoes, and it made it a beautiful, smooth consistency.
That's delicious. So the other important piece of a well-balanced meal is our vegetables. So we want you to get the vegetables in, because while they do have carbohydrate in them,
and this is
the type of carbohydrate that's in these vegetables is called fiber. And fiber is helpful for lowering cholesterol. It's helpful for managing blood sugar. It's helpful for providing phytonutrients and other bioactive compounds, of which there are hundreds, if not thousands. So each color of our vegetable offers a different benefit for the body, whether it's for heart health, eye health, brain health, antioxidants, etc. So we want you to have lots of colors. So I love mixed veggies because we get 3 different types of veggies here. They all have a different benefit, and we get all that fiber from them. And they should puree well too.
Yeah. Oh, let me
Shall we use this one?
Yeah,
Let's use this one.
Because remember, I don't know if anyone remembers from last week, but whenever we reach 1,000 people in our support group, Dysphagia Support for Nutrition and Swallowing, you all know it because you're there. We are going to give one of these away.
Yes. Yes, we are. Okay. So a serving of vegetables is half a cup of cooked or a cup of raw, like lettuce, spinach, etc. Do you want a little bit of liquid in there?
Sure. Do you want to use water?
Yeah, let's use water. Let's see if that's enough. Okay. The other option would be V8 or vegetable juice, because that's my snack today.
Okay.
It's
snug, but it has to be, because you turn it back up
and then you push it twice.
But all of that water is here.
Yep. See that? It still works fairly well considering. Okay, let's add a little more water and see how we do. So anytime you need something a little thinner, add liquid. Anytime you need something a little bit thicker, you can add a thickener of choice, or you can add something like potato flakes. But the potato flakes need to be heated.
Yes.
So you can always add...
You have to do hot water, yes.
Hot water to your potato flakes. And then you can always mix them in. Oh, yeah.
There it goes.
Now we're cooking. Same with veggies. If you need them a little bit smoother, bone broth. I love that you're blending with bone broth, because that's extra protein also. Bone broth has like 10 times more protein than regular broth. We're a huge fan of it. That looks super smooth.
It does.
Shall I get another dish? Because I think I only brought.
I have another one right here.
Okay. Lovely, lovely. Okay.
Oh, that is so smooth. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That worked great. Okay. And we just need to add a little more water. So.
Oh, yeah.
The cauliflower makes it super smooth.
Is that what it is? Because
Yes.
the broccoli, I think, is very smooth too.
Yeah. So I'm really impressed with this. What's Bionic blade. That got it super smooth. So a well-balanced meal is going to have your protein, a little bit of starch, and then your vegetables. So I don't want you to feel like you have to eat a ton. For those of you that are struggling with amounts, meat is the way to go. Steak, chicken, pork, fish.
Can eggs count as that also?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Eggs are a complete protein as well.
Okay.
So eat, and while I'm a fan of plant protein because it's got other good things in it, like fiber and other phytonutrients, protein, you don't have to eat as much. And for those of you that have trouble with amounts, meat is the way to go because you're going to get more nutrition in with less amount. And this is good.
It is good. Well, the steak has been marinating in its flavor for 3 days.
A couple of days.
So for the question, Karen, about thinner mashed potatoes. So these mashed potatoes, as they sat, did get very thick. So one of the things that I can do is I can take some of the broth and I can just add that in there and just soften it up and it's thinner.
Yep. And then,
I like this. Sorry to cut you off. I can take some of the meat that I've blended and put it in there and thin it out a little bit with my potatoes.
So if you're a level 5, perfect. Yes. And it adds 15 grams of protein. What does that taste like, Karen? Because I've never tried it. It's now on my list of things to try, thanks to you introducing me to it. So this minced and moist turned out really, really nice.
Did it?
It's not hard to chew. And all the flavors go together nicely.
Oh, that's really good. So we don't want all of you to think that you can't have a special Valentine's.
Yes.
Just because you have dysphagia. We've just proven that you can have steak and potatoes and whatever vegetable you like.
Yeah.
You don't have to have soup every day. You don't have to have scrambled eggs every day.
Yes.
There are options for you.
Yes. So we want you to enjoy Valentine's with your loved ones, a loved one, whoever that is that you're spending it with. I will be spending it here with Stephanie and then going home to have dinner with my husband next week.
We will have Galentine's first.
We will have
and
Galentine's first.
Valentine's.
So speaking of, what do you all want us to make?
Yes.
Because we will make Valentine's dinner for you if you're interested.
Yes.
We just want to know what you want.
What do you want us to? We need some ideas. We run out of ideas.
Or we can come up with ideas, but it's not necessarily what you all want.
Right.
So we want to do what you want.
So we'll put up a poll, I guess. See what.
Any questions about any of this? Any questions about veggies? Any questions about meat? Snacks. Snacks are hard. I know.
Snacks are hard.
It's
just like we could do that.
We could do a snacky Galentine's Day.
Yes.
Let's come up with some ideas. Yeah, I like it.
I kind of like that idea, Megan.
Okay. I'm just gonna this would be great as a casserole.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is a casserole.
You made it into a casserole, yes. So all is well. So thank you for joining us tonight. And like we said, we are going to be giving away one of these bionic, I don't know where that came from. Bionic blade. Once our membership reaches 1,000.
Our Facebook group.
I'm sorry.
Our Facebook
group reaches 1,000. Well, when the membership grows to 1,000, then
we'll be giving away a lot of stuff.
We'll be giving away some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So tell all your friends.
Yeah. Mary says shrimp scampi.
Oh.
I know that shrimp is one of your favorites.
Yes. Well, I do love shrimp, and that may be a good idea because I think it'll blend very well.
It will blend very well. I'm sure of it. And it's high in protein and other good nutrients. So we can do that, and we can do a couple of snacks.
Okay.
For that. All right, everybody. I also have to put a plug in. Our membership first Q&A for February is this Friday. So if you want to get in on this Friday's Q&A, join the membership.
Right.
If you only want the Q&A and you don't want to join the membership, we can talk about that too. So you just need to send us a message, because we'll let you into just one Q&A so that you can get a taste for what is happening.
Absolutely. I'm good with that. But next week's masterclass is an RN that is going to teach us about choking and how to
that's going to be
help yourself if you are choking and alone, and how to help someone else if you see them choking.
Yep. So so we can do the Q&A. There is a link on our Q&A or on our membership site, which I think our website is actually down at the moment because I moved some things and we're waiting for it to come back up. So if anybody's looking for the website, it'll be back shortly. Sorry about that.
Maybe tomorrow.
But if you're interested in the membership, you can go in and you can purchase the Q&A for Friday for $25.
Okay.
But the membership for the month is $37.99. So you get way more value out of the whole membership than you will just out of the Q&A. So it's on there if you just want to do the Q&A, but join the membership for the month. Check it out. See the support you're going to get from the group. This group is amazing. I love them.
They are amazing. They're very supportive of each other. And when they think you need to ask Kat, then you need to ask Kat and Steph.
Yep.
Kat and Steph can help you.
Yep.
And we're happy to jump in.
Absolutely. So, all right, everybody, this Friday for the membership Q&A, the link should be posted in the portal. If anyone has trouble getting into the portal, let me know. We'll get either your password reset, or we'll send you the link to get in. Normally you could just go to our website to log into it, but tomorrow, check it out tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be back for Valentine's Day next Wednesday.
Yes. And in the meantime, we're here for you. Reach out to us. You've got our email. You've got our phone number. Or do you? Yes.
574-475-7285.
Just text us.
Yeah.
You'll get both of us.
All right, everybody.
You're going to keep eating.
Good. Keep eating. These are delicious and I'm hungry. So enjoy your dinner, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.